30 years, y'all. I've been out here for 30 years. I'm also a father of 12 children. I just had my 5th grandchild, believe it or not. I'm proud. Yeah, I don't have time to protest. But the reason why I'm out here is because of Mumia Abu Jamal. Because Mumia is my uncle. He's my father's twin brother, fraternal twin. They were born, I think my dad is older than him. So I'm just so proud of us all around America to see what's going on everywhere. Just fighting over justice, over injustice. We've all been out here fighting and raising ruckus, and we get mad sometimes when we don't see other people out here with us protesting. And we shouldn't get mad because all these people out here for a reason. We all out here to get justice. So we say no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
That's right, racist police, really. We need to stop. Like if you see someone out here doing the wrong thing, step forward. Because Mumia would love it, everybody would love it, the next person would love it. Like Mike said, we know what to do when you see a bully. You get out there and you kick them right in the throat, right? You don't let them take advantage of you, and you don't let them do what was done to George Floyd. Pay the consequences, that's what I'm saying. Look, my uncle loved this city, he still loves this city, loves all y'all, and my family appreciates all y'all for doing what y'all did for my uncle, for all political prisoners, and what's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
I said, what's the call?
Free them all.
So what's the call?
Free them all.
I love hearing that because we've been fighting for 30 years. And like I said, my uncle's been in prison for 40 years of my life. I'm 44. And still fighting out here with y'all. And if I'm not here, I'm here with y'all in heart, spirit, all together, I'm here with y'all. So I want y'all to just keep fighting, don't give up. I'm proud for y'all, I'm proud of y'all, and let's keep it up. And on the move, free Mumia, free all political prisoners. Free them all. So what's the call?
Free them all.
So what's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
That's right. I'm gonna pass the mic over. On the move. I love all y'all, keep it up. Free them all, free them all. I just do want to give a shout out to all the vendors here today, and I would encourage a lot of people to support these vendors because they're supporting the movement. So when you support them, you're supporting the organizers of this event, you're supporting the political prisoners, and you're supporting this movement. You know, it's very important that we support our own, that we patronize ourselves. So please, you know, we have vending tables over here with literature available, books. We have tapes over here, so please, if you can, when you get an opportunity, please support these vendors.
Thanks to everyone who contributed to planning this gathering. I am here today to speak a little bit about something that's got to change if we're serious about abolishing police surveillance in prisons in this country. And that is our culture's obsession with punishment. And so in doing this, I'm gonna get a little personal with y'all and share my family's experience. On December 30th, 1992, that's the day my brother Dominique was born. On September 25th, 2017, that's the day my brother was murdered. It's still hard to articulate the depth of pain my family has survived. Hard to make sense of difficult emotions we've been left to process, the peaks and valleys of anger, despair, sadness, guilt, and hope. But I'm here to share with you some things I've learned in the aftermath. Number one, trauma changes your trajectory in life. How you interact with other people, how you process information and emotions, and the choices you make, big or small. I've spent a lot of time unpacking the ways in which past traumas I've experienced shape who I am today. And after what happened to my brother, I spent a lot of time thinking about retribution. In reflecting, I uncovered a difficult truth. The idea of retribution becomes more complicated when we recognize that those we are punishing are also people this country has failed to protect. Nearly everyone who commits violence has survived it. And while that in no way excuses their actions, it reminds us that we can develop better methods to hold people accountable. When our aim is simply to inflict pain, we end up hurting people our society failed to protect from harm in the first place. And if hurt people, don't heal people, heal people?
Amen.
Number 2, the criminal legal system causes harm to everyone who passes through it.
Yes!
This system white people built has 4 main functions. Control in the form of policing, punishment in forms ranging from fines to imprisonment, exile in the form of incarceration, and extermination in the form of executions. It is clear that controlling and punishing Black and brown people is more important than meeting the basic needs for food, housing, or medical care. Not just for Black folks, but for everyone.
They gotta change.
The system is morally corrupt.
Yes.
Our approach should be survivor-centered, based on accountability,
Yes.
focused on safety,
Yes.
and it should be racially equitable.
Yes.
People who are hurt deserve a process that will help them heal.
Yes.
People who are responsible for harm deserve to be held accountable for that. All of us deserve responses to crime that make us safer. Those responses must be available to everyone. Because let's be real here. We already have an example of what non-prison-based solutions to crime look like at a systematic level. And it's what we do for white kids. For men, we have a lot of healing work to do.
Yes.
Restorative justice contends that crime causes harm to not just people as individuals, but also relationships and the broader communities. This is a different form of thinking of crime, from crime as a violation of the law. If the primary understanding of crime is about legal infraction, then the most urgent concern is to reassert the power of the state through the enforcement of the law. But if the core concern is that people have been harmed, the priority is to repair that harm.
Yes.
The work ahead will require more than policy change.
Yes.
It will require a cultural change.
Yes. Yes.
We have to change the hearts and minds of so many people who believe in retribution, who would rather see people who commit harm suffer instead of wanting those people to change.
Yes.
The people who lead us on the path towards change are not only the formerly incarcerated people and their loved ones, but also survivors of harm.
Yes.
Those whose voices are typically excluded from the policymaking process because we don't want what we're supposed to want. I'm talking about those survivors who are concerned not just with interpersonal violence, but with state violence as well.
Yes.
Not just with our own trauma, but with the trauma passed through generations.
Yes.
Not just with ourselves, but with the people. Not just with our own safety, but with what will make everyone safer. These are the survivors who want revenge and compassion at the same damn time.
Yes.
And who change constantly as we heal.
Yes.
These survivor stories are messy, conflicted, and uncontained. But almost all of us are those survivors.
Yes.
To close out, I'm gonna lead y'all in a call and response. The important thing to note is that I'm gonna pick up tempo a little bit towards the end, and I want you guys to mirror that tempo. Healing.
Healing.
Let's try that again, y'all. Healing.
Healing.
And transformation.
And transformation.
I want it.
I want it.
I need it.
I need it.
I got to have it
I got to have it
right now.
right now.
Let's do that again. Healing
Healing.
and transformation.
And transformation.
I want it.
I want it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for that powerful piece, Austin. And that culture of retribution is what continues to have our political prisoners in prison right now. Because they don't constitute any threat to our community, they never have. But the reason why they're still in prison 50 years later now is because of that culture of retribution. And this culture of violence, this culture of harm weaves through all of our communities. But right now, we want to take a moment to uplift our vulnerable populations in prison, our seniors in prison.
Yes. Yes.
Let's make sure that we keep it out front that COVID is still out here.
Yes.
And we have people on the inside who are at risk of contracting COVID in a prison in an environment where you can't social distance and where your life has no value. So our next speaker, Ms. Yvonne Platt, is going to talk to us about making sure that we advocate for those who are vulnerable on the inside right now. When we talk about vulnerables, we're talking about seniors aged 65 and older and people who suffer from autoimmune diseases, because we're asking that they be released. People 65 and older, 60 and older, 55 and older constitute no threat to our communities. They have the lowest recidivism rate, but they're being denied an opportunity to be released right now at this moment. So Ms. Yvonne, please come on up.
All right, thank you all. It's good to be out here and see all this love in the crowd. All right.
DeAndre, pay attention. Put your shoe on.
I represent the organization or the collective of many organizations and representatives called Free People Strike. You can check us out online at Facebook on Free People Strike. We have a table over here with information. We have a pledge you can sign and the phone numbers. Because the big thing is, y'all, we have 40,000 people in our prisons in Pennsylvania. Over 45,000. Okay? And as of April, 1,800 were identified to be released because of their age and being at high risk for COVID. But today, out of that 1,800, since April, 59 have been released. We got to put some pressure, y'all.
Yes.
Free People Strike formed, and we started fasting. We have people up to 10 days, 5 days on stretches, fasting, trying to bring attention to Governor Wolf to have some compassion, to move this along, to use his power. Governor Wolf has the power, y'all. We got to push him, okay? We got to call him. And on top of that, we got to call the representatives. We got to call our senators. We got to call our Congress people. Hell, we got to call our council people. We got to call our school board people, because all of that makes up the community. Y'all, we need Philadelphia community to stand strong.
Yes.
And all of those who aren't standing with us are standing against us.
Yes.
And we need to vote them out. Those in elected positions need to be voted out.
Yes.
Governor Wolf only got a year left of his second term. So that's why we got to apply the pressure to all those other points around him. The Department of Corrections are taking their time. The parole board and pardons are taking their time. We got to start making phone calls, y'all. Call Governor Wolf, okay? But more importantly, we got to use our power to vote. We got our voices. We have our vote, and that is our power. I heard on the radio, WRD, shout out to WRD, in Philly, if we can get all of Philadelphians registered to vote out, we can win the county. If we win the county, y'all, we can win the state. Philly got the power. We got the vote, Philly. Okay? We use our power to vote to get our people out. What do we say? Free them all? Free them all. We got 3 people already whose sentences lifers who have been commuted. Charles Goldblum, Oliver Macklin, and Freddie Butler. This is since December. But guess what? Their paperwork is sitting on Governor Wolf's desk. We need Governor Wolf to move his pen. We need him to execute his power and help let our people free. Free them all. I'm glad we've come together. And if y'all could just do with me like we used to do what we do with Kwanzaa, about pull together, because it's going to take all of us. And give me some Harambe chants, all right? Give us some Harambe. Harambe. All right, y'all. Free people strike. Check this out over here for more information. But more important, y'all, they said 2020 was a year of vision, a year for dreams. And I guess it's been up by this pandemic. But we only halfway there, y'all. The end is still near. And if we can come together November the 3rd and make sure the number Dodo, Clown, Phase 45 don't make it back, we can make some more of this progress that our city needs. All right? Vote, y'all.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Miss Yvonne. Next up, I'd like to introduce a spoken word artist who's gonna come in, perform for us, and their name is Shice, also go by Miss Betty Son from North Philly. Where you at?
There you go. Let's go, Shice.
Fred Muhammad, Mumia Abu Jamal, Russell Maroon, political prisoners behind the wall, free them all. Or while we at it, let's tear down them symbols of white supremacy and the statue of Columbus, the original gotta go. Or we gonna have some King Shice problems. 38 or 357 revolve him. Yaku is the world's greatest thief and liar. Black militant smoke, I return the devil's fire. I expose Satan, the minister of information I recite like my soul on ice. The spirit of George Jackson put blood in my eyes, so you crip of blood, vice lord. They all want to see us criminalized, so we gonna pack still at the Board of Appeals. We got to pack still at the Board of Appeals, we on the move. We nation building, we can't lose. We gonna keep it real. I went from church kid to corner boy with the heart of a panther. Revolutionary but gangster. We shooting, this is the evolution of Huey P. Newton. You can lock critical prisoners, but you can't stop the revolution. See, I know why the cage Jim Crow sings. You lock it down and loses its wings. Can't fly in these streets, so we come pray to be devoured in the belly of the beast. America East is poor, we got dark meat stuffed between his teeth. So the slave was set free and stood in the sun, then moved back towards slavery. Them boys in the prison yard can't see freedom in the air, so they become public enemy, caught in the crosshair, but knowledge is power. My mind is black steel in the chaos hour. You can't convince me to change my attitude, and I know slavery in America started with indentured servitude. How is any different from the day when the prison industrial complex got inmates working for pennies a day? And the media can't convince me that drug selling use don't cross color lines and cross color lines. White privilege, give the white privilege. It ain't hard to tell. They was doing drug sweeps at college campuses. Them crack boy boys when you calling mom and dad home to produce bail. But white privilege give the criminal justice and hard. White privilege give the criminal system. White privilege give the criminal system. White privilege give the criminal system a sliding scale. It ain't hard to tell. Oh. I know why the cage Jim Crow sings. You lock it down and lose his wings. Can't fly on the streets, so we come pray to be devoured in the belly of the beast. America East is poor, got dark meat stuck between his teeth. See the boys in the prison yard can't smell freedom in the air, so become public enemy caught in the crosshair. Knowledge is power. My mind is black steel in the chaos hour. You can't convince me to change my attitude, but I know slavery in America started indentured servitude. Now how is any different from the day when the prison industrial complex got inmates working for pennies a day, and the media can't convince me that drug sales and use don't cross color lines and ethnic group, but disproportionately locked down is black and brown. European immigrants put Africans in chains, and Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, by the way of Spain, that's the way those slaves came. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Say word. They've been trying to figure out what to do with the black and poor problem since the Reconstruction. Do the research, it ain't hard to tell. They were doing drug sweeps at college campuses like they do in the hood. The frat boys be calling mom and dad home to produce bail. But white privilege give the criminal justice system a sliding scale. But see, they want to put on the scale. They want to profile the guys. But listen, He was convicted by the testimony of an eyewitness. Judge cracked gavel past 6 for over 2 decades with less sentence. So he got exonerated by DNA evidence proof. Put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth. How many in that last scenario seen someone that looked like me is you? Wasted behind bars, and those who couldn't take it put a belt around their step and come strange fruit. Noose. But I'm a man, so I'm born to stay in a wreck. I let words ejaculate from my larynx until the criminal justice system use a lying trick. And I come with the truth and let it bust all over you. That courtroom don't see, men. Give a fuck about that faith you believe in. So at least we write these prison poetic letters way past the margin. For my brothers and sisters who can't get parole or government pardon. They say I recite like a lyrical rapper. I'm half poet, half pastor. Work like a slave to become our self-lord and master of this craft. Black magic, witchcraft, nothing up my sleeve. I just use words to conjure spells and make you believe in your brilliance. Human spirit, resilient, so you upstate on those tears. No tears. Peace, king. One love, queen. See, I know why the cage Jim Crow sings. Thank you. Gotta free all political prisoners. And we also gotta remember, we gotta break down this corrupt system of mass incarceration for black and brown. Peace, we out. Thank you. All right.
We're going to bring up our next speaker. Our next speaker is named Michaela, and they're going to speak to us about one of the most vulnerable populations, both inside the prisons and outside the prisons, and that's black trans lives. So I want everybody to, make sure you pay attention to what Michaela has to say, because this is a very important issue, and it's a community that is under siege, both inside of the camp and outside of it.
That's right. Black trans matter. Let's go, Michaela. Black trans matter. Let's go. Black trans matter. Black trans matter.
We are criminalized from stealing when you won't feed us. We are criminalized for fucking to make money so we don't need to steal. We are criminalized for drugs to help us cope with the world, to help it feel better for us. We are criminalized for just trying to survive in the system that was never made for us to exist in.
That's right.
Yep.
Sweetheart.
Policing and prisons don't protect trans communities. They merely contribute to our oppression. 1 in 3 black trans people will end up in prison. And even that number only covers the trans people who can feel in any way comfortable living their lives. And that's even before factoring in all my siblings who don't even assign themselves to the gender binary and are being put into the wrong prison.
Yep.
Trans women being put into men's prison, trans men being put into women's prison. Some of them would rather go there, but they should have the ability to make that decision.
That's right.
But it doesn't matter because they shouldn't be fucking in there.
That's right. That's right.
They don't fucking belong there.
That's right.
Our lives are constantly watched and criminalized. And even trying to defend ourselves, we end up right there with all the people who want to hurt us more.
That's right.
And they'll never protect us in there. No one's there to protect us. All trans people need to be free now. And that's not for debate.
That's right.
I don't care what a trans person did, they should be fucking out.
That's right.
But we also need to remember that while we fight for abolition, we need to find ways to protect trans people.
Yes.
My trans siblings deserve to feel safe in their communities without having to ever deal with the fucking police.
That's right. Yep. Or anybody else, any other kind of thing with either.
6 years ago today, I'm gonna bring this up because it actually came up in my Facebook memories. 6 years ago today, I was jumped by 3 kids all along the Delaware Canal. And everyone I told was asking me, go tell the cops. Go call the cops, try to get them to do something. Why?
That's right.
And we're gonna make sure that we put that date out. And we're gonna make sure that we have people organized. And let me say this too. I know his father. It's a brother over there, my comrade Gandhi, when we came through the penitentiary at 16 years old. Sentenced to life without prison. It was his father that took us and took us out of the mindset that redeemed us, because I didn't go to prison as a political prisoner. I went to prison for a homicide in my own neighborhood. My comrade did too. And it was the political prisoners that made me who I am today. Made my comrade Gandhi over there as he is today, but more importantly, dozens, probably hundreds of the juvenile lifers that were released can each have an individual story about the impact political prisoners had on us. And the only way we were fortunate to run into them was when we was thrown in the hole for wilding out as kids in the penitentiary, because they was buried in the hole. Russell Maroon Schultz did 30 years in the hole. Joseph Jojo Bowens did 35 years in the hole. Arthur Chetaway Johnson, listen to this, did 39 years in the hole. He was only released 4 years ago from the hole. So for us, coming through as young boys that was reckless and wilding and harmed our communities, the reason why I'm not out here harming my community now is because of political prisoners. So I paid my debt to the state. Fuck the state. I'm paying my debt back here to my community for the harm I did, just like my comrade and the rest of us did, right? But it was political prisoners that did that for us. And if they had the opportunity to reach our youth out here, our streets could be a lot better, because we know the police can't solve this problem. They can't. The most policed communities are also the communities that suffer from the highest rates of crime. So that tells you that that shit don't work. So, we on schedule here, so sorry for drifting off, but I just wanted to lift that up to let people know the type of men, the type of people we're up here advocating for, and the change they made. And again, 50 fucking years. There ain't no other way to say that. It's time for them to go home. I could give two shits whether they did it or not. Our communities could give two shits whether they did it or not. They are gonna help our communities. And regardless of whether you've seen 50 years, it's time enough.
Free them all! Free them all! Free them all! Free them all! Put your fists up! Free them all! Free them all! Free them all! If you believe that we can win, we're gonna say that one time. I believe that we can win. 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 That's right. So we're gonna bring up our next speaker, somebody who is a phenomenal performer, activist, artist, educator. She's been on the front lines for a long time, and we thank her for her work and for her activism through the spoken word. Give it up, y'all, for Sister Lyric Respect, y'all.
Peace, everybody. How y'all feeling? Peace. So I am honored to be here today to lift up my voice in the name of justice. As many people said already, it's not going to happen if all of us are not on board. The movement will not move forward in the way we need if we are not all of one accord. Ashe? Ashe. So when Brother Gabe asked me to come and speak a couple of days ago, this is a medley of sorts of a couple of different things. It's called Come As You Are. Rally up the troops because the spirit is high. We took a red eye to the blue in the sky. Smoked the volcano and inverted the earth so that the core is at the surface for the purpose of birth. Overcoming death at every turn as the city burns. Black backs are used for target practice. Took to the streets, knocked the whole world off its axis, calling all free thinkers, spiritual seekers, individuals caught in the middle as poor righteous teachers, calling all skaters, calling all haters, calling all out-of-work actors. In other words, calling all waiters.
Let's go.
Calling all baby boombastics, drowning in a fountain of youth. calling all tellers of truth. Cat Katrina cornered on the roof, calling all MCs with no booth. Box despisers, freedom riders, bilingual, bipartisan, bisexuals, open-minded intellectuals with street smarts, astral bodies that are all heart, spiritual tokens, severing shackles so fast they'll leave your chain smoking, calling it quits, calling a rift, calling a universal consciousness shift, call it a gift, sundial the presence, call it a fad that abstract the black essence, calling taste, touch, and sight, calling all kite strings with keys to lightning, right? Calling the locks of the timid, the heat of the frigid, calling the mothers and fathers on or off duty, calling any and all misunderstood beauty. This is for the good and the bad. There's no such thing as ugly. Calling the missing, calling all who are listening. And I'll stop yelling just as soon as you tell me why everyone is whispering. Shh. I'm taking notes on your innermost thoughts so I can read them back to God in prayer. And though I'm an imperfect intercessor, I'll go ahead and spin the record because the Creator deems me an okay player. Now more than ever, we are the wayfarers, the triple dog darers, this is our America. We hold the keys. And we dream with our eyes open, dancing with the elephant in the room like it's our ballroom betrothed. And our destiny is our ability to hold the pose. Power, presentation, togetherness, poise, timing, posture, shape, noise. We the chosen progeny of alchemists. We the true redemption of unrest. A more perfect union. It's time for the real test. Our floor craft is in the aftermath when we take our first step. And once we get our rhythm down for equity and progress, we'll set the stage across the page for when, where, and how we invest. For this is not a classic case of noblesse oblige. Just silence your mind until your heart speaks. Today, awaken those that were happier to sleep. Bring the best that you wish to manifest. We are the change makers, keeping time with our heartbeats, breaking barriers with our brilliant minds. We speak life, then put it into action. Because when we speak right, there's nothing left to question. Today, our conversations hold cures. Our tongues administer truth. Our actions the treatment, starting at the root. We are doctors without borders, innovating through synergy, brainstorming without umbrellas, immersed in possibility. We'll figure out the formula that only the collective can provide and show them how we get it done when ego steps aside. A more perfect union of people more unified, a chance to multiply our impact in the face of great divide. So let there be light years of light, lighting pathways to runways of flight. We invite the height of the night sky so that our tears will mourn us when they die. Reincarnate your calling, radicalize your purpose, reinvent what's heaven sent, calling all lovers of all universes, calling you out of the closet, calling you cosmic, calling you blessed ed, calling you fed and ingested. You can choose to brave the honor or suffer in the dust. Trust, fear is a carnivore and will meet you at the intersection of your uncertainty. So shore up your convictions and meet me at the overpass of victory. Let's free our political prisoners unjustly incarcerated and begin to restore. Reporting live from the scene of your triumph. What's the call? What's the call? What's the call? And the transcripts will be written in the wind. Peace, y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Next, we'd like to invite some folks up from the campaign to free Jaleel Alamin.
Greetings. We are here to speak about H. Rep. Brown, also known as and currently known as Imam Jamil Abdullah Alamin. This is his book. It's called Revolution by the Book. And in the introduction, it says the name given to him by his parents was Hubert Gerald Brown, H. Rep. Brown. The street named him Rep. He had a scathing dexterity with the language, combining profound intellect with blunt coarseness. We played the dozens, like white folks play Scrabble, a mean game where you try to totally destroy somebody else with words. So Brother Abdullah is going to tell us about the current situation of our Imam Jamil Alameen, also known as H. Rap Brown, and we demand a new trial for him. He is totally innocent.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you and the mercy of God. First of all, I'm connected with everybody you talk to, inside and out. That is Mumia, Mike, and the other African family, Jerome Russell Schultz, and his co-defendants, Fred Burton, Saeed Joyner, Al Joyner, and a lot of others. And as a result of that, I'm directly connected. This street, Osage Avenue, is where Saeed and Al Joyner, which brother has information about Al, they've been in prison since 1970, which is 50 years. And as a result of that, and the things they did in prison, and the things that's going on now is just standing on their shoulders. So one of the things we want to talk about is there's a campaign to free Al. I have some literature for that, and we're going to pass it out for people to go online and check that out. I don't have it in my head, but it's on the literature. Also, Imam Jamil, the individual committed the crime that he's in prison for, he's been in prison for 20 years for this, has made a confession on camera. So we can represent the Imam Jamil Action Network, which is called IJAM. You can go online and check it out and get the information. Also, we have great love for the young people, because this is something that we've been looking for the last 50 years. We've been involved in the struggle since the 60s. You know, some people don't even know about all the names, but there are a lot of names and a lot of people who have never been named, been involved in the movement. So right now, we want everybody to get on board, and a lot of things is not going to change until we change it. It's not a thing about asking them to change things. We have to change things. There's ways that you make demands, and one of the ways you make demands, along with this external stuff that we're doing here, you got to sit down at these tables in the back room and do certain things. And we have some back room sessions that go on. As a matter of fact, I came from one earlier today, this Sunday at the masjid on 60th and Osage Avenue. So those are some of the things that show you how to do the things that you need to be done. It's not just rhetoric. It's some practical things we got to do. And a lot of the practical things you don't talk about outwardly, when people know what you're going to do to them is happening to them. So we're going to talk about that also. I'm going to leave you with, like they said, free them all, free them all. And we're going to have to use some practical things to do that. And we have some practical things that can be done. My name is Abdullah Muhammad. I'm at the masjid on 60th and Osage. So if anybody want to get in touch with me, that's where I'll be. Peace.
Ask y'all to bear with us for a minute. We got some drummers coming up. Who are going to raise money for the Russell Maroon Schultz family, and following the drummers, the Schultz family is going to come up here. I think it's important for context that the Schultz family is from this area, from West Philly. They're members of this community, and you know they're going to be out here, you know, sharing with y'all about their father, and they're going to speak to you about Maroon as a father, as a family member, because a lot of us know a lot of political prisoners as the political prisoners, but they're more than that. They're fathers, they're uncles, they're sons. So the Schultz family is going to come up, but the drummers are on their way up.
So, I just want to say, when I say what's the call, I want y'all to say it as loud as you can say it and put some energy into it and act like act like you actually want people to come home, So when I say, what's the call, you say, free them all. What's the call? Free them all. I can't hear y'all. What's the call? Free them all. What's the call? Free them all. I think y'all are trying to free somebody. It sounds like y'all might want to free somebody. I said, what's the call? Free them all. What's the call? Free them all. So my father, they want us to say it again. What's the call? Free them all. Over there, I want to hear you over there. What's the call? Free them all. What's the call? Free them all. And so when we say that, we're talking about our political prisoners. And so one of the things we grew up around here with was the Gold Coast Buccaneers. Anybody ever heard of the Gold Coast Buccaneers? So the Gold Coast Buccaneers was a drill team that helped nurture me when Maroon wasn't here, right? And so one of our elders just passed away. His name was Bob. Bob was one of the pillars of the drill team. And so the drill team is based and steeped in African culture. Look up the Gold Coast Buccaneers and you will see that we've done work in this community. So we invited another drum line, and as this drum line comes by, please enjoy the music, and they will have young people also taking collections. So part of the conversation for us is that if you have equality, if you know that you have more resources than folks have, then make a donation now. Now is one of those times. Enjoy. Come to the front, you guys. Come to the front. Make your way to the front.
in the context of, there was people who said, I'm willing to put my life on the line for this.
Right.
So, it's a real conversation about, especially people of color, I'm not talking to non-people of color, that it's a possibility that you could be George. I don't know why we don't get that. You can be George at any given moment. So why not put your life on the line for something before you end up with your life on the line? What you waiting for? Why not just say, my block, we gonna do this, or we gonna protect the children, or we only gonna allow y'all to swing at this time, or whatever it may be. This is what we gonna do because we recognize we dying already. So find something, pick something to die for. Because you're dying already. Half of us are spiritual. Half of us have some passion in life that we believe in. Half of us in the hood, we love basketball enough to die for it. We have. So if you've got something that you believe in, nothing is supposed to stop you. Some people say they believe in whatever it is. Whatever your spiritual belief is, whatever your calling is, whatever your passion is, don't allow COVID-19 or anything else to stop you from doing that. It teaches you that in your scriptures. That is going to be some locust or some pandemic or something. If you got any spiritual or any religious text belief you've ever read, it tells you that that's going to happen. And if you're scared of that, you need to get grounded with whatever it is you believe in. Because that's a real thing. And you need to get in touch with what it's going to take you to get through that. Okay, so you're dying already. They throw the COVID at you. You run in your crib. Don't run in your crib after this date. Don't allow your covenants with whatever you got to be broken. You've broken a whole bunch of covenants. We didn't do Ramadan. You call that Ramadan? Ain't nobody in Mecca. Whatever it is, you play basketball, you ain't playing ball. You do yoga, you ain't doing yoga. Because they told you to stop.
Teach.
Find something to die for. Like these political prisoners did.
Teach.
Like a brother with his boot on his neck. Find something, I don't care what it is.
Teach.
Find something that you're willing to die for. I hope it ain't your kids, because they already marked. They already marked, and you ain't doing nothing. Your kids is already marked, and you ain't doing nothing. So be prepared. I'm not telling you what it is. I ain't telling you to be spiritual. I ain't telling you to give your life for yoga. I'm telling you that you're dying already. At any given moment, I can walk off, you can walk off him, in y'all that look anywhere remotely closely or whatever. You mark, bruh. So let's just be real about it. Let's not kid ourselves. If you're scared, say you're scared. I'm scared. I'm not going to let that fear stop me. I can't let that fear be the reason why I don't move forward. I can't let that fear, I got something that I rely on that, whatever it is, it ain't bigger than that fear.
That's right.
So you up against that. Whatever it is, you up against what I believe in. Whatever it is I believe in, you up against that. Cops, whatever, y'all up against that. Find whatever that is for you and be prepared to put that at your backside. That's what these people did for you, for this community. They was willing to die for your liberation, for you to be free. That's why they are the priority right now. If you was Puerto Rican and somebody got locked up, they don't play that shit. Anybody know the Puerto Rican political prisoners? Anybody? Just let me know if you know but do they play that shit? Do they negotiate anything else before they're fucking prisoners? Do they talk about is there anything else that they could negotiate besides the freedom of their prisoners that died and gave their life for them? Do the Palestinians do that? Did the Irish do that? Do the Cubans do that? Matter of fact, the Cubans got Asada. They protecting Asada for you.
You better teach.
They protecting Asada for y'all. We supposed to be protecting Asada. She didn't fight for no damn Cubans. She She wasn't a BLA soldier, general, female general for their communities to be protecting her. She's supposed to be here with her children getting protected by us.
Yeah.
Find something to die for. That's righteous, that's proper. Because you're gonna die anyway. You're gonna die anyway. You came here to die. Find something to die for and stop this nonsense. Because when you do that, then we'll be able to stop talking about we're gonna reform some police and we're just gonna get rid of all this shit. You're gonna go through this, you're gonna get rid of the police, you're gonna get rid of the economic system. You're gonna get rid of the economic system, you're gonna get rid of the religious system. That shit is shit. They raping children.
You better teach.
Okay? So you're gonna get rid of the religious system, then you're gonna get rid of that economic system. Then you're gonna get rid of that economic system. Whatever systems that deal, you're gonna get rid of that military system. Any systems that deal with us humanly right now, they're all soiled to the core that you can't fix them. Stop trying to fix some shit that was made for you to be like this. You're not gonna fix some shit that's meant for you to be like this. It's not broke. It's not broke. You're not gonna fucking fix it.
Tell him.
From the voting on, you're not gonna fucking fix it. Fix your mind on a new parameter that's better than theirs. And work collectively towards that. You're not gonna get shit until you produce something that's better than theirs. And we can do that. I want to get off this mic. On July 4th, 30th Street, Fist for the Fallen. 30th Street, July 4th, 11 a.m. They got flyers, check it out. I appreciate y'all, I love y'all. www.freerussellmaroon.shows. Press the donate button. Look, Black Lives Matter. We have a black collective here in Philly. Get with us. Organize with us. Be vulnerable. Let's go. Let's get busy.
Let's go.
I love y'all. I'm putting my life on the line. Put your life on the line. We're not living unless you do that. Let's do that. Come on.
You're looking out, please. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And that's Russell Maroon Show family there, too. So please, everybody, get up and show them some love and support. Our last speaker is going to be Ms. Karen Ali. She's going to talk about her husband, Omar, who's been in prison since 1970.
Hello. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak with you this afternoon. I appreciate you. I appreciate every last one of you being out here hearing this story. And a lot of you heard the story because you live in this story as well. Constitutional right. After that, the district attorney intentionally, we found out that she intentionally eliminated, counted down until she had removed all black jury and had an all-white jury. His case was overturned on that legality. However, the judge, who was Judge Sabo, and the district attorney, assistant district attorney, who was Barbara Christie, who we may have known, who was also involved with Mumia's trial, they did the same thing a second time. A second time they did the same thing, and we appealed that. 10 years later, now these are the years that are flying by, and we're gathering information and so forth. Then we went before the state Supreme Court, and they found that these things were true, that they intentionally eliminated certain people from the jury, and it was a practice that they carried out in the training of the new assistant district attorneys. This was something that was regularly done in lieu of tangible evidence to convict the person. So, since they intentionally did it, the court overruled it and said, you have 90 days to set him free, to try him, or set him free. Well, the district attorney, who was Lynn Abraham at that time, and I know all these names are familiar to everybody, appealed it for another 10 years, and then they ruled in her favor, in their favor, not because it didn't happen, but because they considered it not preserved. So procedurally, here he is still stuck in jail for something he never did. Procedurally, they said it was not preserved, so it happened, but we can't rule on it because of that. Then, after that, still with the appeals board and so forth, and the commutations and things like that, we came up against some other things as far as why the conviction happened. And then along with that now, here we have the coronavirus, which is another death sentence. And because this crime in which he was accused of and convicted of at that time is considered a violent crime, so then their hopes is that knocks him out of the box for being eligible for that. So since day one, we have never given up and just accepted this incarceration of his. And he has continued to leave no stones unturned to look for the different avenues of explaining why this happened to him. We just got finished, we just published a book called The Truth and Nothing But the Truth. This situation has happened to quite a few people. You know, and sad to say, it wasn't just our family, but this was systematic racism for the reason of breaking up families.
Supporting us, we really appreciate your support. So again, thanks everybody for coming out and free them all.
I remember Crystal told me I was mad. Funny, they never let her know the embarrassment. I had to wear the same draw, going out for